Four Corners every Wednesday, 10:30 to 11, when I'll talk to local and regional authors. So please join me Wednesdays here on 90.9 FM, KSJE, Farmington.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital with a rich heritage that dates back to before New Mexico was a state. We've been improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. As a nonprofit hospital, San Juan Regional Medical Center is a values-driven organization. We strive to deliver on our mission to personalize health care and create vitality and enthusiasm in healing. We are here for you when you need us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services.
Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning here on KSJE 90.9 FM. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in. My voice sounds worse than I feel this morning. It is allergy season is what I think this is. So bear with me, everybody, but I'm glad you're along with us. Special good morning to our viewers who are watching us live on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. Welcome aboard, everyone. Coming up in just a moment, my guests on the program from San Juan County will be talking about fire department recruitment, some fire conditions this spring, of course, the drought or the lack of drought and snowpack and runoff, and perhaps some flooding concerns coming up this spring as well. That is coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Later on this hour, we will round out the 8 o'clock hour talking about the economy with Jason Kelka from Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation. And then Mick Hess will be here roving with the arts at 9:06. Today, Mick is playing more Bach cantatas for us at 9:06 on Roving with the Arts. Of course, don't forget about our program at noon today, right on Four Corners. Tracy Hales-Vass is talking to this author, Monica Gatto, about her latest books from Albuquerque. That is coming up today at 12:06 right here on KSJE. Let me turn to my guests who are here with me in the studio to talk about San Juan County, and representing San Juan County, Jordan Richards is here. He is a division chief from San Juan County Fire Department. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming in. Allie Rye is here as well from the San Juan County Office of Emergency Management. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you for having us.
Good to have you here. And Devin Neely is here on KSJE. He is the Public Relations Manager now for San Juan County. Devin, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us, Scott.
You bet. Great to see you and have you here as well. Jordan, let me start with you a little bit, talking about the fire season. We had a great snow year, and so that's what brings you here to talk about fire danger, because things are starting to grow and bloom, as you can hear in my voice.
Right.
And what does that mean for you and your members of the fire department?
Well, hopefully it means that we are not quite as busy, but unfortunately what it tends to mean is that people let their guard down. So we want to be really cautious with that and remind people that there still is fire danger, regardless of the amount of snowpack that we've had, the rainfall. All of this is great, but fire still burns, right?
Yeah.
And so while we may not be in as severe drought as we were last year, we definitely still have fire danger out there. And so we want to just remind people to be safe and smart.
And I think as the temperatures do warm up, things are going to dry out. At least they have a tendency to do that, right?
Absolutely.
So everything that's growing right now is then going to be the fuel for fires perhaps in a month from now.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And we've already seen evidence of that. You know, I mean, wind season has been here and definitely has kicked up some pretty good sized fires already. We've had a couple that have been over several acres already this season. So
right.
Definitely something that we want to be mindful of.
And so as folks are maybe looking this spring, as the weather does get nicer, to get out, maybe do some work in the yard, is that fire mitigation always something to be aware of, and watching for brush against your home or near your home, out,
Yes.
especially out in the county, I suppose?
Yeah, so what you're referring to is defensible space.
That's what I'm
we call
talking
it.
about.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
we want to make sure that we have that defensible space. Really, really important, especially as we go, a good rule of thumb, 50 feet if you can get it. We recognize that that's not always possible, but that's a good rule of thumb. And building that defensible space is super important. One of the things that as you're doing that and creating that defensible space, as you're building up that brush that may need to be burned off, just call us for a burn permit. And we make that recommendation daily, even on the weekends. You can also check our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. We push out that information every morning between 7 and 8 o'clock.
And you're looking at weather conditions, I guess, when you make that recommendation,
yeah,
right? As to whether it's a burn day or not a burn day.
Exactly. We look at weather conditions, especially wind conditions.
Right.
That's obviously a huge factor. If it's not going to be a windy day, maybe some rain, hey, go ahead, burn it.
Right.
We always kind of tease on those days that it's like 90%, rain, and it's, if you can burn it, go for it.
On those days, that's right.
Yeah. So,
perfect. But a lot of folks do that, and that's smart.
And that's great.
And after this winter, we may see a lot of places that were growing, things were growing that weren't growing for the last number of years.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. We're definitely going to see a lot more growth this year, and I think it's great, but also definitely something to keep in mind as far as when to burn, how to burn. And you can check our Facebook page, all of our social media sites for that information.
And I know you're here representing the San Juan County Fire Department, but this advice is certainly good for anyone, whether you live in the county or in any of the 3 cities or 4 cities, pardon me, Kirtland.
Yes.
But anywhere else, to think about your property, especially if you're in some of those fringe areas that are really more wildland type than urban.
Right. Yeah. So all of the different agencies around the county have their own burn policies. So, if you live in the city of Aztec, contact Aztec
Sure.
Fire Department. Same for Bloomfield Fire Department, City of Farmington. Kirtland, we cover Kirtland. So just give those agencies a call, and they have their own processes. Usually we're all on the same page, though, as far as when to burn, when not to burn.
Okay, very good. Allie, let me turn to you and ask you a little bit about your job with San Juan County Emergency Management. And we mentioned all the snow pack and rain and water that we've had this winter. And so that means lots of great things are growing and maybe a little less drought conditions here in San Juan County. But it also means the potential, I guess, for if the snow melts very quickly, lots of runoff and potential flooding. You're not too concerned yet, but you're keeping an eye on it, right?
We are. We're staying very aware. I do want to kind of address, so a lot of people don't think that we're not in drought anymore. Whenever you look at the National Weather Scale, they actually scale it anywhere from a D5 to a D0. And we're actually still sitting at a D3. So we are actually kind of considered still in drought.
Right.
A lot of people think because we got all this moisture and all this rain and snow and stuff that we were good.
But not as severe, right? It's a little better, right? We're not as deep red as we used to be.
Correct. Now we're kind of more of a little bit of a yellow.
Yeah, right.
So the big thing behind that is the moisture isn't penetrating the ground. So we're not getting it into those deeper levels. So we are seeing, a little bit more of it evaporating, not just completely running off. So we are prepared. I have Devin with me here today, and we kind of wanted to kind of address the fact that we are staying ahead. We are looking at putting out, information in the event that we do start to see different characteristics and stuff come about.
Certainly the rivers are looking healthier.
They are.
Than we've seen them in a long time.
They are. They are flowing.
And I guess the thing that you're watching is the temperatures in the mountains, I suppose.
We are.
Because we want that slow, steady melt, not anything like we don't want 80-degree temperatures in Durango next week, because that will cause some problems, perhaps.
Right. So we're liking the fact that it's still staying cool in the evenings.
Right.
It's keeping that moisture up there, still staying frozen, and we're not worried about runoff at the moment. So yes.
But if folks are concerned, if they have riverfront property or things like that, your Facebook page, I know, pushes out a lot of information as well to folks, and maybe some other channels as well.
We do, especially in conjunction with San Juan County, the official page. We put out a lot of information. We do want to let people know that we have gone out and purchased sandbags in the event that we, start to see some characteristics. We are fully prepared. We are watching and monitoring, and we're staying on top of it. We do not want to see any issues.
And I hate having to talk about this on the radio, because we've been wanting moisture for so long, and snowfall and snowpack and all these things, and with it, it's a mixed blessing, because we get all that snow we can see in the mountains, but if it comes down too quickly, it causes the problems we're talking about.
It does. And the big thing that we would like to see is some of our lakes to get full from it. That would be nice to have
Right.
a reservoir, because even though, like I said again, we're still in D3, so what happens if next winter we don't get as much snow, and then the following summer we're back into drought where we're having to do water restrictions again? So we'd really love to see a lot of this moisture still stay in some of our lakes.
And that appears to be happening, right? I think I've seen some posts from Navajo Lake that they go up, I don't know how many feet in a day from some of the runoff that's coming into the lake.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, Navajo is sitting at 56% full, so we'd love to see it.
They've got a ways to go.
They do, and drought they hit us really bad last year.
Right.
So yeah, so that one, and Lemon Lake is at 18, so we're still seeing some really good improvements.
Okay, and Lemon is the one near Durango.
Yes.
That is a lake up near Durango, and Vallecito I know is low as well.
Yeah, so Vallecito's only at 32%.
Okay. But is there some projections that these lakes could get close to 100% by the end of the spring season?
We haven't fully seen any of those kind of projections yet, but we're expecting them to maybe not get 100% full back to where they were, but to at least still fill up pretty well.
Okay. That would be great. And I know everyone's watching Lake Nighthorse, which is the newest lake, and I don't think that dropped too much. I don't think we pulled much water out of there at all.
No, I don't think so either. I think the last projections I looked at, it was still sitting at like 98% full.
Right.
So, which is great for us because it's a nice little reservoir in the event that something does happen down here and we do need some runoff.
Exactly. There were concerns, I think, about some of the water quality in the Animas because of the burn scar from the fire last summer, and they weren't pumping water, I think, out of the river into the Lake Nighthorse at this time. Maybe because of that.
Correct.
But it's still pretty full, as you mentioned.
It is.
So.
It is.
And snowpack these days, what are we looking at? It's still pretty healthy.
It is. So when we looked a couple of months ago, earlier in the season, we were sitting around 59% full. Right now, Mike and I pulled the projections earlier this week, and it was only sitting about 46. So we haven't lost too much. Which is great improvements from last year, where we were sitting roughly around like anywhere between 50 and 60%. So those projections we've gone up quite a bit.
Last spring was just sad.
It was. It was a little pitiful. I'm kind of glad though, because it was my first winter here, and I was really afraid that I was gonna cry from all the snow.
Well, but this year, I guess. Thanks for bringing the snow eventually, right? So keep it coming. This was an okay amount. I used my snow shovel more this winter than I think I have since I've moved here, probably 30 years ago. So, but I'm not complaining. We definitely need it. But thank you for being here this morning to share that information with us. And so if folks do have concerns, they can work with your office. I know we've talked a lot about floodplain mapping and things like that you do, that your office does, to let folks know if their property is in a floodplain or what have you, right?
So we do have that option. Michelle Truby, she's our floodplain manager. She's great at what she does. She has the capabilities of looking at GIS maps and being able to see if your house falls into a floodplain. Another cool feature that we do have, it's sjcoem.com. If you go there and you click at the floodplain link up at the top, the bars, you can click and you can actually pull up the map yourself for free and see if you actually do fall in the floodplain or not, if you're unaware. And if you have any questions about that, you can give our office a call. We'll be happy to talk you through that and let you see, because I think that's kind of a cool feature that a lot of places don't have.
Right. And we don't talk about it too much living in the desert, that we don't have a problem with flooding very often, but when we do, we do.
Exactly.
And that's why we have the maps and the information that's available. And when we talk about the potential for flooding, is there any area on the river or any rate that the water is flowing that causes you to pay special attention? Certain CFS?
So we actually do. We monitor CFS weekly.
Cubic feet per second, everybody, just in case you don't know.
And our big one that we really do pay attention to is the Animas River, and we collect it at the gauge at Cedar Hill. And right now it's only sitting at like 6 feet. And so whenever we start seeing it kind of get into more of the double digits is whenever we start paying attention as to what's going on. So we are really sitting at a really good spot right now. The big thing behind that too is a lot of people don't realize that the San Juan River is controlled by the Bureau of Reclamation. So they do release off of Navajo.
Right.
They do release off of Navajo, and so they have been in conjunction with us. They've been monitoring everything. And whenever the animus peaks in June is whenever Bureau of Reclamation is going to start making releases from from Navajo on San Juan River.
Into the San Juan.
Yes.
Got you. But they can control that, which is
They
what they've
can.
done in years of drought, and then years of maybe non-drought, they can kind of match what's happening naturally.
Exactly, and that's their whole point, is to match what's happening naturally, so that way you don't have one river flowing at max speed and the other one just trickling. And then in the event that San Juan River starts to we start seeing issues come out of it, they'll be able to contact us, or we can contact them, and they'll start drawing back on how much they release.
Okay, very good. My guest this morning from San Juan County, we were talking about some of the issues facing San Juan County this spring. We're getting some messages of good morning and hello on our Facebook page. Hello, Mesa, Arizona. Nice to have you along with us, so thanks for watching. And there you go. Is that your family, Jordan?
I don't know.
It could
Maybe.
be.
It could be. That's my hometown.
Okay, well, there you go. Jordan, let me turn back to you a little bit about
Sure.
the fire department, because part of your title is recruitment, and so always looking for more firefighters for San Juan County?
Absolutely. We need firefighters. So San Juan County Fire Department is a combination fire department. So we have a few paid staff, but the majority of our department is volunteer. We have just over 200 volunteers right now. And around the county, they cover 2,400 square miles out of 10 districts, 23 stations, and we're a busy service.
I was going to say, I want people to maybe think about that distance that you just talked about. I mean, that's a huge amount of land to cover with
Right.
mostly volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. We have huge amounts of area to cover, and a lot of people in that area.
Right.
You know, one of our bigger districts, in fact, I think it's our biggest district, District 11, is down in DZ, and I have 5 volunteers out there. So if you live in Huerfano, DZ, anywhere like that, please call.
Right.
I need
How many
volunteers
would you
out
like to
there.
have?
I would love to have 20. I would
Okay.
love to have 30, as
those-
many as I can get.
Those 5 people are responding 24/7, I
They're
suppose,
very
right?
busy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very busy, and they're very dedicated out there. Those guys that and girls that are responding out there, man, they are very, very dedicated, and they hit as many calls as they can. But they're also a pretty busy district. 550 runs right down the center of their district, and so man, we get lots and lots of stuff off of the highway there.
Sure.
So if you're in that community, please, if you're looking for something to do,
Right.
we offer all the training. We have lots of different benefits for our volunteers, including stipends. So they actually do get paid per call. It's when people hear volunteer, they think, oh, well, I'm just throwing my time away. That's nothing could be further from the truth. One, you're serving your community, which is awesome. And 2, you're making a little bit of money. We have a cap that we, by law, can not pay a volunteer over, but that's $15,000 a year. So it's
Okay,
not going
that's-
to pay all the bills. But
No,
it's,
but nothing
it's
to
a pretty
sneeze at
decent-
either.
Yeah,
Sure,
it's
that's
a pretty
right.
decent chunk of change.
So what you're saying is, if I'm a volunteer and I was going to call, I would get a certain amount of money for
You would get
responding.
$10 for that call.
stipend, right? And
Yeah.
that can add up over the year to as much as $15,000.
Exactly. Right.
Gotcha.
And then we also have retirement options. We have different kinds of insurance coverages that we offer for our volunteers. So in addition to the training, to me, the training is the biggest benefit that we offer. All of the training is done through San Juan College, and we provide national level certifications. So the training that you receive at San Juan County as a volunteer firefighter could take you anywhere nationally to work as a career firefighter. So while you may not be seeing immediate monetary benefits, your volunteerism is going to pay out in dividends.
Right, which is amazing. And so if folks are interested in wanting to learn more about becoming a volunteer, and the need, I would think, is needed in all districts.
Constant, all
Right.
over the place. Yeah, even if they live in the cities, we have out of district volunteer options. So even if you live in the middle of Farmington, you want to come volunteer for us. City of Farmington doesn't currently have volunteers, so come and volunteer for us, and we can absolutely make use of you.
Sure, but there are several districts surrounding the city of Farmington that
Right.
if I live in the city, I could respond to a call in minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. We have we have districts all over. District 1 in Kirtland, 4 La Plata, District 8 Hart Valley, and Flora Vista. We've got them all over the place.
Every place. The whole county's covered, that's for sure. And so what's the process to call you? Is there application process, all that?
Yeah, so you can visit our Facebook page. There's a link to go to our website where you can fill out a little information card that sends your information directly to me, goes right to my email, and then I call you back as soon as I can, usually same day if I can. Or you can call our office, that's 334-1180. Or you can always just call me. My phone number, 386-8206. That's my personal cell phone number. Call me, please.
Don't call him now because he's on the radio, but when he's done, you can call him.
Please call me.
Maybe don't call him at 3 in the morning.
Devin's shaking his head.
Okay.
It's a county phone.
Well, there you go. Blow
Everybody
it up.
can have the number.
Blow it up.
Care.
There you go.
Don't call me now. Don't call me now. But please call. I mean, that's the easiest way to get the process rolling is just to start the conversation.
And I want to ask you too about the types of jobs, because everybody doesn't have to be lugging around a fire hose and in the heat of a fire. There are other positions that people could be helpful, whether it's traffic control or something else, or dealing with reporters who show up on scene and ask silly questions.
Right.
That's Devin. Yeah. That's what he does.
We call those media avoidance. There's a place for everybody on the fire department. Legitimately everybody.
I don't have to drag an 80-pound fire hose necessarily.
No,
right?
absolutely not. Whether it be administrative, we need somebody to help us with our paperwork. We need people to help us keep our stations clean. We need people to drive our trucks. If you're interested in driving the truck,
I could drive a fire. Are you saying I could drive a fire truck as a volunteer?
Drive a fire truck.
Well, there you go.
I know.
All right.
How do you get better than that?
Right.
We have EMS support members. So if you're not interested in crawling around and burning buildings, that's okay. I get that. But the majority of the calls that we run are medical. Probably between 85 and 90% of the calls that we run are medical calls. So if that's what interests you, again, we train you. We give you those national certifications that are good anywhere. And so it really, I mean, like I said, that training is just a huge benefit.
Right. So again, I think it's a volunteer job that could be done by almost anyone. What's the minimum age you need to be to be a volunteer? 16.
Yeah, you can start at 16 as a junior member.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Can't drive the fire truck at 16.
Probably can't do that.
I'm
All
sorry.
right. That's okay.
But once you turn 18, you learn everything about the fire truck over those 2 years, and then 18, on the road.
They'll get you in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for being here. And let me turn to Devin Neely, who is here, and is, how long have you been on the job now, Devin?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And here you are. And so talk to me a little bit about that, because that's been a transition. I think folks would remember you from a lot of media appearances, whether it's other radio stations or KOBF, Channel 12, Channel 4. And now here you are.
It's been a big change.
Wearing a different hat.
Exactly. Moving into government has been a big change for me, but I've been enjoying it a lot. It's really a change of pace for me. It's not quite as fast as TV or radio might be, but it's really been an eye-opening experience, a fun experience to get into this space where I'm working with Allie and Mike Mestis over at the Office of Emergency Management. I'm working with Jordan at the fire department to make sure that all of these different county organizations are on shows like yours, and the information gets to the right people. So, as Ali mentioned before, we're already looking toward the possibility of some runoff problems later on this season, and so we're putting those communications plans in place to make sure that everybody in the county is well aware.
Sure. And again, how important is that to be able to communicate directly to the public, or to use the media to get messages out to the public so people are aware of what's going on? I mean, we've seen a lot of issues with our rivers in the last few years when they turn orange and not, and things like that. I mean, and the public is really concerned about what that could happen, what that could mean to their property, their family, what have you. So that's got to be a big part of your job.
And this interview is really taking a big change. The media landscape has changed immensely over the last 10 to 15 years. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But now governments and these organizations, the fire department, the Office of Emergency Management, they have a direct link to the citizens through the Facebook pages, through the Twitter accounts, things like that.
Right.
It's changed the face of communication from government to the people, and frankly, it's very important in an area like this where there are very valuable media outlets like KSJE, but we also have to have multiple ways to get the information in the hands of the people.
Sure. Well, and again, we're here today because we've we've booked you guys and you're here talking on the radio station, but if something were to happen tomorrow and we can't get you back on the radio, you can still talk directly to your constituents through your social media, through your websites, through whatever else is at your disposal, which is, I think, a great tool.
So is it worth, at this point, plugging our Facebook pages, our
Of
Twitter
course.
accounts?
Yes.
San Juan County Fire Department has their own Facebook page and Twitter. The Office of Emergency Management has their own Facebook page and Twitter. The San Juan County Sheriff's Department has their own Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. San Juan County itself has a Facebook page and a Twitter account, as well as McGee Park Riverview Golf Course, and I'm missing one.
Uh-oh. What?
I have another one, but that's okay.
You have another one? Okay.
I'm sure I do.
You'll remember it when we go off the air, but that's okay. But a great tool. I mean, again, and a great way for folks to reach out and communicate. Let me ask the two of you same kind of questions about being able to communicate directly with your constituents, folks who live in San Juan County. How useful is that, Jordan, in case of an emergency for evacuations or whatever, right?
It's enormous. We have options like reverse 911 where we can call people, but in my experience, Facebook and Twitter is the way to go. I mean, I can put something up on Facebook and I immediately text the two of these guys and they're putting it on their page, so we work really well. And Jamie over at the Sheriff's Office, we all work really well to share that information. And it also allows us to get the same information out there consistently. We're not just kind of shotgunning and sending, Devin might have one piece of the story and I might have another. We all make sure that we're consistent, and then we get that information out in a really timely fashion, whereas historically we wouldn't be able to do that.
Right. I can remember just, even maybe 10 years ago that if you wanted to get information out to the public, it may take, and you may read about it next morning's newspaper, for heaven's sakes, and not be able to know what was going on in your neighborhood until then.
Exactly.
And today it's a lot different.
Yeah.
And that's important. Is that something that you feel is important, to be able to let folks know quickly? I mean, I know
It is.
your first goal is to put out the fire or deal with the emergency, whatever it is.
Right.
But then secondly, I suppose it's got to be public information.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to keep our public informed, and that it helps us on multiple avenues. By keeping them informed, we're able to minimize the traffic in that area. People are really responsive to, hey, there's a car accident here, please avoid it. And, hey, the traffic shuts down. Same thing, it helps us minimize 911 traffic. We don't need everybody calling in the call that we're already aware of, right?
Right.
And so when we're able to put that out, well, people are able to say, okay, they're already aware of it, they're handling it, and they can kind of move on with their own lives. And then it helps us just keep the public informed. And I think that's such an important piece of what we do. At the end of the day, we're here because of the public. We're public servants. This is what we want to do, and so we want to keep them as informed as we can.
Very true. Allie, let me turn to you, then Devin, I'll come back to you in just a second. Same kind of question, though. Being able to communicate with your audience has got to be a great tool for you at the Office of Emergency Management.
Yeah, so the best thing about what we do is we live in a world of instant gratification. I mean, we honestly do. So people are constantly wanting to know real time what's going on, what kind of updates we have. And I'll use the Aztec shooting, for instance. We were able to put out information quickly, like, please stay away from this area, this is what's currently going on. And it really kind of eases people's minds to know what's going on in that situation. To me, in my personal opinion, it kind of limits the questions, and it limits people kind of guessing as to what could happen, or kind of starting conversations and maybe not even getting the full information. So I think that the fact that we use social media, it really does help. And my boss, Mike, he is amazing about constantly wanting to keep everybody informed and answering any kind of questions we have that may arise on social media. So it's great, because if you want to know something immediately, just ask and we'll be able to supply that information to you.
That's true. You're talking about that Mike is Mike Mestis, who is the Director of Emergency Management for San Juan County, and you're right. He does a great job of getting information out, and I think we all appreciate the work that, well, all of you do to inform the public. Devin Neely, let me turn back to you a little bit about this issue of dealing with the public and getting information out quickly. As a reporter, former reporter, you couldn't get it fast enough if you needed it, if there was breaking news, right?
Well, and like I mentioned just a little bit ago, the face of media in our world has changed so drastically, just in general. And here in Farmington, we've seen that evolve between the newspaper and, at one time we had 2 newspapers and things of that nature. And so now being able, again, to empower citizens. At the county, everything we do is around building a stronger community. And when the community is informed, they're stronger. And I did want to Jordan's point over here, while the county is building a stronger community, the fire department's slogan is serving a stronger community. So,
okay, good to know.
All of us working hand in hand to make sure that this community is safe, well taken care of, well informed, and all of those sorts of things.
Very true. And I want to ask you a bit, too, about the source of information, because it gets one of my pet peeves is when well-meaning people are sharing things on social media, but maybe not from an official page, which is what all of you represent here in our studio this morning. But maybe they're sharing stuff from their neighbor's cousin's milkman down the street about what they think is going on. But maybe the better thing would be to share what's coming from the official fire department page or emergency management page or San Juan County page.
Absolutely, and we strive to make sure that those social media accounts are reputable, are credible. You're always going to have the correct information, or as correct as we have at that time.
If it's not, you'll fix it.
Correct.
Or update it.
We make sure to update our posts so that if you see something posted from San Juan County, New Mexico, from the San Juan County Fire Department, from the San Juan County Office of Emergency Management, that's information that you can trust. And we also hope that people not only value that information, but share that information, because within your sphere of influence, we value that engagement to your sphere of influence, because we may not be able to reach those people directly.
Very true. Very true. Well, I can't thank you all enough for coming in this morning to talk with me about these very important topics. We'll be watching the weather as things do warm up eventually, and watch the snow melt, and hopefully it does it very slowly, and we'll still see snow in the mountains in July. That's always nice to see when we can, and watch the fires, because we know it's going to dry out, and it's hot in the summer, and that can be a problem sometimes if we're not careful. So thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. Thank you all for coming in. My guest this morning from San Juan County here on KSJE. Back with more in just a moment, everyone.
This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 50